Welcome to the Ultimate Intimacy Podcast today with Nick and Amy. And today's subject's something we feel like is extremely important. Of course, we always talk about important stuff, but I think it's something, we often, well, before I dive in, we often talk about things that I think once you kind of fix, you don't really have to think about or continue to work on a lot of cases. But I think this is one that I know Amy and I have struggled with, and we always are constantly talking about it and trying to do better at. And I think this is something that a lot of couples struggles with. So today we're going to be talking about scorekeeping in marriage.
I would say this is a work in progress in our marriage constantly,
Yeah,
constantly,
exactly. And I was going to say that exact same thing.
and probably most couples.
And do you feel like this is something that more women struggle with, or more men, or both? Do you think it's a both
I would
thing?
say women,
Yeah. Okay. I'm
100%.
glad you're saying that, like just honestly, because
I'm just gonna be, yeah. Nobody get mad at this podcast. We're just sharing our thoughts, and I think that this is a really big deal for a lot of moms and wives. So,
why do you think that is?
I feel like husbands, for the most part, not all, please don't get mad at me, for the most part, husbands probably have no clue what women go through. Just gonna lay it out there.
Go through like meaning physically,
Physically,
mentally,
mentally,
emotionally.
emotionally, our bodies are kind of a wreck. Hormones, that drives all sorts of emotions, that drives physical challenges, that drives we're the nurturers of the family. So whether you're working outside the home or you're not working outside of the home, you have a load that a husband would never know about. Not saying that a husband doesn't have one, but I don't think men have any clue what moms do. I just don't.
Okay. No, that's good feedback. And there's probably a lot of women out there that are feeling the same way with exactly what you're saying. And obviously husbands want to know what they can do better. I mean, I think that's the frustrating part maybe for many husbands is most husbands are like, okay, if you need something, just tell me instead of
And I think that's where all the frustration comes from is there's just so much and a lot of wives. Okay, we should have taken a poll on this because I should have gone back through and researched everything that everyone's ever messaged us. We get both sides, right? Obviously, we're going to talk about like talking about it, and yeah, you should communicate. But I think for the most part, and you'll admit this, is husbands are like, the house looks clean to me. Do you know what I mean? We're
Mhm.
not just talking about house, like clean house or those kind of things in this podcast, but that's where women get frustrated. Like there's just so much to always do. And some of us, including myself, sometimes don't know how to stop.
Okay, I'm glad that you brought that up because
I'm gonna be humble in this podcast. Like I will say when I'm like, I have this weakness.
and I think a lot of women are like that, where the list will never end. Like no matter what gets accomplished, there's always going to be something else that can get done, right?
And that's not a bad thing.
It's not
That's
necessarily a bad
someone
thing,
someone has to pay attention to these things, and it's usually the wife.
but I think the husband's like, all right, when they get home from work or whatever, they're feeling like, all right, time to relax and things like that. And that's
Uh-huh.
where just obviously good communication comes in.
And I think that it's important to note that if you're a stay-at-home mom, you're already, for the most part, like I don't know your situation, so don't come after us. If you have one kid, yeah, you can probably clean and get a lot done. If you have a couple kids, if you have little kids, it's harder. You're also trying to be a good mom and taking them places and cleaning up after them and feeding them every meal. Like I have been a stay-at-home mom when my kids were little. It was a full-time job. When husband gets home at night, it doesn't end. It's dinner time, it's bedtime, it's homework time, it's put them to bed. Like it's exhausting. It doesn't, this is where it gets really frustrating for a lot of women. I want to talk both sides. I don't want to feel like this is an unfair podcast. We're like picking on men or anything. Please don't get that from this podcast. But a wife, if she's busy at home and she's cooking the meals, and this is just one situation, we'll talk about everything. If she's at home with the kids, she's a stay-at-home mom. Her day is not over at 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. like the husband's. He gets off work, he comes home, he needs to relax. And some jobs are really hard. I'm not dissing on that like whatsoever. I have to be very careful how we talk about this. There are some major labor intensive jobs. And yeah, maybe being a stay-at-home mom compared to his job in some cases is not even comparable. And we're not trying to say compare.
Yeah.
But a wife doesn't usually get to clock out at 6 p.m. She then has dinner and all these things. And it's awesome when a husband realizes that and can step in and do that. Now, a lot of women are working nowadays. We both work. Our situation has completely changed. And I've kind of been in every situation. So I do feel like we can share our experiences
For
in
sure.
this. But I still have the mental load of all the kids' schooling, all their activities, all of the calendar items, cleaning out the fridge, taking care of meals. Like, as much as Nick wants to say, bless your heart, I'll take care of dinner tonight, there's still 6 other days. And oh, the kids go to the mom when, what do I take for my lunch for school tomorrow? And what are you making me for breakfast today? Our kids are older. We don't have to deal with that anymore. But
Go make your own food.
yeah, literally the kids come to the mom for everything, and a husband has no clue what that looks like. It's
I
just an
agree.
invisible load that a man will never understand unless he's a single parent.
Yeah, I agree. And so, regardless of what your situation is, I think every couple kind of deals with this. And, unfortunately, you know, sometimes, well, the reason why scorekeeping is so detrimental is it turns you in from working together as a team to now becoming competitors,
Right.
right? And
Right.
and the absolute worst thing that can happen, well, the more you try to keep score, the worse your marriage is going to get. I
Right.
want to say that because
Right.
100% true.
Hmm.
Where in reality, you think, oh, if we get closer to 50-50 in perfection, that's going to make our marriage better. No, if you're doing the scorekeeping, the more you try to make it perfect, the worse your marriage is going to get. Trust us on this. Totally true.
It's hard not to do. I'm not going to come on here and say don't score keep. It's really, really hard not to do. It
Well,
just is really hard not to do, and it does need to feel. It's never going to be equal. We've said this a lot, but it's never going to be equal. But it needs to feel fair. It needs to feel fair. It just
okay.
does.
Well, and we talk about, facts don't care about your feelings, right? Like it's
Right.
hard to argue against feelings, is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
So I don't know. How do you make everything feel fair?
You
But
talk a
yeah,
lot, a lot.
yeah, you do.
You do. You talk a lot. We've had to talk a lot. We've had this
But
conversation. I can't even tell you how many times.
But I think as a couple, what you have to do is look at it as if you're on a team together, right? If you're on a basketball team together, one player might play 40 minutes, the other player might play 20
Mhm.
minutes. It doesn't mean that one player is less important.
But one player can't be playing 20 minutes, the other player plays 40 minutes every single game, or it's going to cause issues,
I get it.
right?
I,
Right.
I, I get
It's
it.
going to depend on the date. It's going to depend on your conversations. It's going to be depend on like how you work that out. So both people are like, yeah, this is really working for our team, right? That's what
Yeah.
it takes.
But as you're trying to keep score, you're going to be more focused on what did she do today or what didn't she do
Hmm.
today, and all your attention is going to be looking at, trying to keep things perfect. You're going to be so obsessed with trying to keep things perfect that it's going to make things worse.
Hmm.
And what looks like 50-50 to her might not look like 50-50 me or vice versa. And I think you
Right.
have to recognize that there's going to be some days life's just crazy, right? There's going to be some days where a wife does take 90% of the load.
Hmm.
It's just going to happen. And then there's going to be other days where maybe the husband's taking more of the load on certain
I
things.
hope so.
And
Yeah.
and that's the goal is like if we're a team, we're working together as one. And so as long as we're both together trying to do everything that we can do,
Hmm.
it shouldn't matter if one day it's, Amy's 70% and I'm 30 and the next time it's me, the opposite, right?
I think where the scorekeeping comes from is it's never usually. I'm not saying there's not women out there that just kind of drop the ball. I'm not saying that. I'm sure there are plenty of wives out there where the husband literally feels like he does so much. Bless your heart for doing that. A lot of the women I hear from, they are doing the 70 to 90% daily, and the husband never ever does that. And that's where the scorekeeping comes. Scorekeeping doesn't typically come in a marriage
Where both are trying.
where both are trying to put in that 100%. That's what I want to say. Do you know what I
Yep.
mean? Like it's going to be 60-40 one day, 40 like or you're both putting in 100 and you're both putting in 90. Like it's never usually a 50-50 thing. The problem where scorekeeping comes is when the other one spouse feels like the other one is literally dropping the ball and they do feel like they're doing
Hmm.
everything. So if you are a wife that has a bunch of little kids at home, you're working all day and your husband gets off work and he goes and sits on the couch or plays on his phone for hours, you're gonna feel Like you're doing so much more because your day didn't get to clock out. And that's where it comes from, is situations like that. And it might go the other direction.
Yeah.
It might go the other direction. Because there's plenty of husbands the same. My wife doesn't work. Our kids are now out or they're at school all day. She still doesn't cook dinner and she hangs out with her friends and then she still is always too tired to be intimate. Like that is not this like
For
he's gonna feel the scorekeeping going on his side. I just want to say it comes from both directions. It's not always the wife complaining about
Well,
it.
the worse it gets, the more resentment you're going to have. And, again, going back to the analogy, like if you're competitors, I
Yeah.
mean, look at anything, look back in life and maybe sports that you've played or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the more you're competing, the more resentment you're going to get, the
Right.
more frustrated you're going to get. And when it becomes a competition like that, no one's
Mm-hmm.
winning at that
Right.
point,
No.
right? So
No.
you got to work together as a team, and instead of tackling things separately, say, hey, here's the things that need to get done, today or this week or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How do we get them done together?
Right.
So,
Right.
um,
It's tricky. It's
no, it is.
tricky. And men have a mental load too. Like I know we're not talking about mental load today, but that's where a lot of the scorekeeping comes, is that a lot of husbands don't see what a wife is struggling or dealing with on a daily basis, and a wife doesn't see what a husband's dealing with on a daily basis. And if you actually sat down, and I know we've talked about this, and say, what does your mental load look like? Like, lay it out for me. Like, lay it out for me. And
Yeah.
she's like, okay, I would love to lay it out for you. Like the meal planning, cleaning this out, the kids, like, I don't think husbands realize we had 4 kids in 4 different schools at one time. And that first couple weeks of school, I was getting emails from like all the different teachers. And I'm like, this is like a part-time job just to deal with their schedules right now. They were younger, but like a husband doesn't know that unless you
Yeah,
tell him
for
that.
sure.
But a lot of husbands will be like, you have no idea the mental load and stress I'm dealing with, like trying to pay the bills, and the work stuff I'm dealing with right now is stressing me out. Like I could barely function. But they usually typically don't bring that home and start complaining about that for the most part. And
Agreed.
so a woman has no idea how much stress or whatever is on a husband's shoulders. He's just taking it, right? So she's sitting there, oh my gosh, like the scorekeeping, and has no idea what's going through his mind and the stuff that he might be not bringing up, right? So it really just comes down to conversation. Like, this is how I feel. Oh, well, this is how I feel. I'm like, oh, I had no idea you were going through that. How do we sit down and really talk about this and make the scorekeeping go away? And that's going to take communication. It's going to take not pointing fingers, not saying I do more than you don't do anything. It's how do we make it so that we both feel like we're on the same page and that we're both putting everything that we can? Because I can guarantee you, if a husband he came from home from work, he's like, I just need like, give me 30 minutes to just go decompress. And then I'm going to be the best husband in the world tonight. And the wife's like, okay, thank you for that. And then he comes and he just like, let me help with dinner. Let me do this, or
Hmm.
let me take over dinner. Maybe you're both working. And so it's different, right? Like, okay, what night do you take dinner? What night? Okay, let's go do this with the kids. You drive here. I drive here. Let's take care of this. I'll clean up. You cook. If people like literally just learn how to talk to each other and been like, how do we become a team tonight? And they asked each other that every week or every day, it's just all about communication. And I
Yeah,
know communication's such a boring topic, but it's literally key.
it
It's
is.
literally key.
I think it's also important though to like take some responsibility as well too, right? Like if you're at a point where you're so busy and there's so much to get done and you're keeping score
Mm-hmm.
and you're feeling resentment, I mean, you got to take some accountability and say, are we scheduling too much
Right.
in our lives? And secondly, things don't have to be perfect. Like what things can wait a day or two, right? Like if we don't get around to what things can wait a day or two, we
Mm-hmm.
can still prioritize our relationship. I think like I said at the beginning, one of the things is, we get that perfectionism to where everything has to be perfect and everything has to be done and the house has to be perfect. And the reality is nothing bad is going to happen if the carpet doesn't get vacuumed for another day or so. Or, you know what I mean? I mean, so
Are you sure? Are you sure? That's pretty
oh,
important.
well, I would say that. Okay. I guess I'm
I would have to say with my tip, and I've gotten better at this. When my kids were younger, it was harder to not score keep because I literally, especially when I was supporting our family, I felt like I was literally doing everything and I was gonna break. I had some mental breakdowns literally. I'm like, oh my gosh, I am doing everything. And it takes both spouses not just talking about it, but being willing to listen. Like both spouses have to be able to listen. But I feel like the scorekeeping and load gets a little bit easier for all of you with younger kids when your kids can start helping out.
Oh, for sure.
So now I look at myself as a mom, and on Saturdays, if I'm stressed out, I'm like, this house is a wreck, like, because we're really busy during the week. So Saturdays, I'm like, if I miss a Saturday, like, I am like, this is like when we all come together as a team and like deep clean and get stuff done, get the laundry done. If I am being a good mom and you're being a good dad, we make our kids work. We make them do their stuff. We make them clean so many things. The
No,
load of cleaning a home does not need to be all on the parents. It doesn't. Like if you're a great parent, you're teaching your kids how to take some of that off of you so you can have couple time.
so you're saying the freeloading stops. It's done.
Freeloading
The
stop.
freeloading stops. No, no, you're exactly right.
I
It
think
does.
a lot of moms, bless your heart for being amazing mothers, but like if you're enabling your kids to be and there's days I do this. There's days where they have a big race that morning or they've just done a 10-mile run. They're on the cross country team. It takes over their Saturday mornings and every morning. And they come home and tired and they just want to go take a nap. And then they've got parties or plans or dates or whatever in the after evening. Some days I'm just like, okay, I'll just do it. And then at the end of the day, I get frustrated because I'm like, this didn't get done, this didn't. It was all on my shoulders. And I start to feel that resentment. Nick's really good at like being around Saturday and doing his fair share. So it's not a marriage thing, but sometimes it feels like there's just so much on the wife because she's the one noticing a lot of the stuff that needs to get done that husbands, bless their hearts, just don't see sometimes, right?
Yeah.
And the deep cleaning stuff, the cleaning out the fridge, all the stuff that like it really sucks to do. No one wants to do it. But when you can involve your kids and be like, hey, I need you solid for an hour. And Nick's been so amazing the last couple months of every Saturday. He's like, I'm taking your guys' phones.
Keep
When your
talking, keep
chores are
talking.
done, when your chores are done, you guys can have your phones back. And I've never seen them work so hard because they've got a
That's
social
true.
life
That's
and
true.
they're like, okay, I need my phone back so I can plan my social life for tonight. So anyways, it's gonna look different in every situation. I don't want to just talk about our stage because there's so many different stages of marriage and when your kids are out and there's no one else left to help, like that whole retirement stage I hear is super,
Yeah.
super hard. We'll find out soon enough.
All
Coming fast.
all this praise is making my head swell. I'm glad I'm not wearing a hat. I need to adjust my hat size.
You're well, the only reason you're so awesome is because we've had so many conversations about this.
That's true.
Because this has been a real hard spot in our marriage, a real hard spot.
And usually I don't learn the first, second, or third or fifth time. So if your husband isn't getting it the first, second, fifth time, don't get frustrated. Just keep talking. But
Wives are like, he should know. I've already told him 100
he
times.
should know. That's right. That famous saying. But really, it really does come down to just sitting down and having that good communication. Because again, most husbands out there are going to be like, "Oh, I didn't know you felt this way. I want to."
I don't know if most husbands are like, I want to make things easier. There's a lot of crappy husbands out there that are
some
like,
crappy
I
husbands.
worked all week. Why should I have to do this, this, and this? This is your job.
But I don't think those husbands are listening to our podcast.
Well, if they are,
and if you are, then step it up. But I do think most husbands really do want to take a burden off their wife.
So. I really, really hope so. I hope so. It's not just taking a burden off of the wife, it's taking a burden off of each other.
Yeah.
Right? You're trying to take a burden off of each other and make each other's lives easier. So if you both have that attitude, that changes everything in the marriage. What can I do to help you today? What can I do? What can I do to be a better spouse today?
I want to say something too that's really powerful too. If you're feeling like this is scorekeeping going on in the relationship, one of the other things you can do that will help a lot is show appreciation, right? Like if you start showing appreciation and saying, "Oh, you did so much today. Thank you so much. I apologize I couldn't help out more. I was dealing with this, whatever." But just showing appreciation and gratitude for how hard each of you are working, that alone will just take away a lot of the resentment and bitterness and scorekeeping, just feeling appreciated and valued. So I think that's important to do. So, really sit down, have the good communication, talk to each other about it, work together as a team, and, make it all right. How do we become teammates? We're trying to solve these different things. How do we do this together as a team rather than as
Right.
competitors, so to speak.
So let's
So
give him a classic example because Saturdays used to be really hard for me. Nick would go play golf and I would be with the kids, and I felt like I did all the cleaning and all the kid raising, and I didn't get to go take 5 hours to myself. Like, this is at the beginning of our marriage. We had four little kids at home, and he golfed like literally all the time. I have nothing against golf. It'll probably be our entire retirement. Like, I love golf. But so many women complain how unfair it is that a husband can go leave on Saturday morning while she's stuck cleaning and dealing with the kids and stuff, and then he comes home and then he's tired. Okay. And this is just an example. I'm not saying that it's bad or that it happens to everyone, but a good example or way to combat this in your marriage is to be like Friday night, okay, like I'm supportive of you playing golf. Like, I want you to go have fun. I want you to have your hobbies. Let's figure out what this looks like for both of us so everything gets done that needs to get
mhm.
done. I wish we would have been better at this when we were going through our hard time.
And I'm glad you brought this up because this is a great example, but there was also a good solution.
There's easy solutions when you can learn to have communication, when you can learn. And we're not good at that for years and years and years.
You're
But
right. You're right.
what we
Because
did,
what happened is you'd get resentful and it was causing issues and you had every right to. But once we started talking about it, we found a great solution. And I know there's a lot of couples out there thinking the same thing, whether it's with golf or hunting or, whatever, right?
Mhm.
There's a lot of couples out there that are shaking their heads and know exactly what you're talking about. So yeah, keep going.
So the solution would be is to sit on a Friday night and say, okay, you're gonna go play golf. I am happy for you. I support it. You're going to be home at what? Like, say you tee off at 8, you'll be back by like 12, 12:30, maybe 1. It's like a
Depends
4-hour round
depends
plus
on
lunch, right?
depends on how good my round is, how many balls I'm hitting.
And um okay, so when you get home, I would like to go take 4 hours to myself, or even just a couple. Not all women need 4 hours like a round of golf. But it does need to feel like fair. It needs to feel fair, even if that's like you get 4 hours, 5 hours, and I get a couple hours, okay, whatever that looks like. So um if he's and you say like Friday night, okay, these are all the things. Here's the list of all the stuff we need to get done at the home or where the kids need to go or grocery shopping. If you will come home from golf and I can leave for a few hours, I'll take care of half the list while
Yep.
you're gone. You take care of the other half of the list while I'm gone. That is what fairness looks like in
Well,
marriage. And it doesn't have to be 50-50.
I was gonna say a half. It doesn't have to be the half of the list, whatever you talk about, because you don't want to get in that. Oh, it has to be exactly half. Well, this is harder than this. I mean,
No, no, but it needs to be like, okay, let's write down everything that gets
yeah, and
done
you agree.
tomorrow. Okay, you do this. Okay, I'll take this. Okay, you take this. I'll take this. You take this. You take. Does that feel good for our marriage tomorrow? Does that work out? You come home by 1 o'clock
Yeah,
and get those things done because a lot of women will be like, well, he comes from home golf and then he just goes take a nap and ignores the kids
ooh,
and doesn't even do anything,
that was a
right?
tough, tiring round of golf.
Oh, so hard, right? I need to go take my nap now. Like, as a husband, like, if you want to be a good husband, you want her to want to be intimate with you, do that other half of the list, take that off of her, and send her out the door so she can go have some fun too. This is what coming together as a unified team in your marriage looks like. It takes communication and it does take fairness. It does take
Yeah,
fairness. It's not a 50-50 thing. It's like you give and I'll give, and we'll both give so that everyone's happy. We'll get stuff done, and then we won't be too tired tonight because we
yep,
love each other, right?
yep. Agreed,
It
100%.
doesn't have to be this complicated, and golf doesn't have to ruin your marriage, and all these things. Like, you can have fun and have separate time together, and still be able to accomplish things. And yeah, wives, like, please talk to him. If you are thinking he's going to read your mind, he's a man. He's wired differently. He's not going to see the dust on the ceiling fans like we always joke. He's just not. He's a guy.
Yep.
He's not going to see that. And so this is why we created the Harmony Home feature in the You and I app at
Oh, I was just gonna hit that. You
youandapp.com.
and I were like
We
totally
listed
like,
out everything, you guys. We listed out like outdoor maintenance because a lot of husbands are like, well, I take care of the whole yard. Does she want to go take care of the whole yard? No, but talk about that. So you're like, I do the inside, I'm doing the kitchen stuff. He goes and take care of the yard stuff. Stuff is getting done. It just looks different, right?
yeah, yeah,
But that
exactly.
app is amazing. So it's amazing because it lists out like not just okay outdoor stuff, indoor stuff, the kids' schedules, calendars, birthday parties, all these things that women complain is on their mental load. All these things are in the app, and then it has a his and hers checklist. I know I know I'm not like, okay, everything has to be a checklist, but for it really works for some people to be like, I would love you to take care of this and I'll take care of this. That's going to make
Well,
me feel like we're both really working.
the reason why we built that is because the feedback we get, I would say this is probably one of the top three issues that people struggle with.
Absolutely.
I really would. And we hear from so many couples, and some are going to be a lot more severe than others. Others, it might be just a little frustration. Others might be just like totally maxed out, feeling a ton of resentment. Whatever it is, this is just a great thing to sit down and say, hey,
Absolutely.
what can you take care of this week? What can I take care of this week? And it still might look completely imbalanced
Mhm.
based upon, if the husband's working 8, 10 hours a day.
Uh-huh.
But
Right.
it doesn't matter what it looks like as long as you're sitting down and talking about it and you're like, yeah, I'll handle these things, you
Mhm.
handle these things. Everyone's feeling great.
Mhm.
You know what's expected. You don't have to guess, or you don't have to, sit there and think he should know or she should know what I'm thinking. I
Mhm.
shouldn't have to say anything. So
And
it's great.
it's going to be different like depending on your job, right? If you're a hard labor construction worker kind of guy and you come in and you're like, I'm physically exhausted, all I want is for dinner. And you work that in your marriage, she's like, I'll have an amazing dinner ready for you, but can you take a little break after work and then can you maybe do the kids' bedtime at night? Like it's just about having nice conversations, respecting each other and being grateful for each other, right?
Yeah,
And if his job's a little lighter and her job is heavier, how do you take that off? If you're both working, can you afford to hire a house cleaner, take some of these things off your plate? Is there a couple nights a week where you can grab dinner on the way home? Communication,
for
right?
sure.
It's like it's gonna look so different to everyone. I can't even share like here's an example, but we have different stages, we have different careers, we just have different trials in our life, we have different aged kids, we have harder kids, we have easier kids. Like it's just
Yeah,
communication. That weekly marriage Monday meeting or Sunday night meeting where you can sit down and talk to each other and be like, what does our schedule look like? What's on your mental load? What's on your mental load? What's on our work schedule? What do you want to do for dinners? How do we accomplish this, this, and this? Like when you could really take time and have that hour conversation to plan out your week and really get on the same page, that's life changing. That's life changing.
well, and as we're wrapping this up, I cannot stress enough that the more you try to make things 50-50 and equal, the worse things are going to get. And
You just
so,
have different jobs. You just do.
yeah. So, like I
Yeah.
said, the goal is to work together as one, have that constant communication, talk about
Mhm.
things. How can you be better as a team? So you don't have that resentment and you can connect as a couple and find time to connect a lot more as a couple.
And you're gonna have more fun too.
Oh,
If you get on the
absolutely.
same page, you can start joking and flirting and have more fun in your relationship. And that's what everyone wants, right?
Agreed. So,
Right.
anyways, hopefully this can help. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. And if you need some great products, go check out all the amazing products we have at
Mm-hmm.
shop.ultimateintimacy.com. Really supports us, and we really appreciate all of you that listen to the podcast as well. I've said this 100 times, but with the amount of people we have listening to the podcast, we should have thousands and thousands of reviews. Um, I know it may be a little uncomfortable to leave a review about a
Leave it for
podcast
us.
talking about
Yeah.
what we talk about, but please consider leaving us a review. It really helps, and we greatly appreciate it. So until next time.